The global AI and observability market was valued at approximately $1.4 billion in 2023 and is projected to reach about $10.7 billion by 2033, highlighting the rapid investment in AI-powered observability solutions. My name is Paul Nashawaty. I'm a practice lead for the AppDev practice, and I'm joined by Laduram. Laduram, how are you doing today?
Yeah, pretty good. Thank you, Paul, for inviting me into the call.
Well, thanks for being here. Super exciting times. There's a lot happening in the observability space. Why don't you introduce yourself and introduce Middleware?
Yeah, I'm the founder and CEO of Middleware, and we're roughly around 3-year-old company. We raised 7 million seed round in 2020, late 2023, like 2024. Roughly around 50, 60 people, growing pretty fast. And Middleware is like actual observability platform, but then we have a layer on the top of AI that is just whenever you detect the issues, it's just fixing using AI and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely growing as practice awareness is happening. Observability is key. Actionable insights is definitely key. And AI is rapidly redesigning the observability landscape. It's turning that raw telemetry into real-time intelligence, which helps teams move faster and operate with confidence. It's really a big part of what's happening. So what I really want to talk about in this segment is how we explore the observability using AI to cut through the complexity, reduce noise, and also redefine how engineering teams are understanding and managing modern systems into production. This is a big part of when we look at modern solutions in observability. So Laduram, there's a lot to talk about here, right? When we look at observability tools have traditionally been reactive, right? We see that there's alerts out there. Usually it's a red, yellow, green kind of dashboard view. And if after something breaks, that's when people know about it. So let's talk about middleware.io. What's unique? How is it using AI to shift observability from reactive monitoring to proactive intelligent systems?
Yeah, thank you, Paul. It's great questions. So when we started this company, actually we built like actual observability software, because just building AI on the top of third-party observability platform is like very hard, because you don't control what kind of data you needed, where you need to store, how you're going to process it, how you're going to actually fix the issues. So it's become really, really hard. So what we did, we like build actual observability platform, and then on the top we build AI layer. So the AI layer, because then we will have like a whole control of the data, like where the data is come from and how we can actually push back to fix the issues, because we actually live in the customer, the environment. So that is give us a lot of advantages to us as a middleware or us as a AI to learn from the data and then to make a fix and then iterate as well. So we heavily building the layer on the top of like observability platform. So like whenever we detect the issues, how we gonna fix it, where we gonna fix it. If it doesn't fix and if AI get hallucinated, then what the response we can actually do as well, rather than the fixing wrongs. Yeah. So that's our core focus. That's what we are focusing right now.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, because when you look at the data, I used to joke around and say that observability practices were the #1 data storage admins, and storage vendors loved them because all they did was collect a bunch of logs and data and never did anything with it because they didn't know how to analyze it. This is where the AI piece is really helping. But AI is also flooding the observability stack with more signals, metrics, and insights. We find in our research that 75% of respondents in our 2025 research indicate they're using 6 to 15 different observability tools, and 54% are in favor of a unified view. So how do we extract the insights from the noise, and how does middleware really help teams separate what's actually matters from like what just looks maybe interesting to them?
Yeah, the original problem why companies using so many different observability tools is like because one company good at one thing, and then their pricing is decent for that one thing, and then the rest of the things what they have, their pricing even it doesn't match. So they send a log, maybe using some open source, or they just host it by themselves, because then they start sending all the log to the one specific company. Then it just become really, really expensive. And sometimes, like I can say, like if you just do not optimize and you start sending all the data to observability provider, your observability bill with those legacy tools that I'm talking about, your observability bill will be the higher than your cloud bill. And it's happened so many times. And it's actually happened with me in my previous company too. So like whatever we paying for our cloud AWS, our observability bill was the higher than that as well. That's the reason all the companies, the sending all the data fragmented to all different type of the tool and bringing to unifications is very, very hard. Now the market is actually shifting, and then people are just getting aware that we need to send the data to one place so we can do actual correlations between metrics and logs and traces and all other different type of the observability data, and even in the business metrics as well. So the market is actually shifting there.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. The other factor that I was seeing in our research is a lot of times these different tools, these siloed environments, was there because this was part of an acquisition, or this was part of one business line was using the tools over another, and they were just doing their individual things. But many of these enterprises really struggled to connect the observability data to real business outcomes, like you were talking about. But that impacts the revenue impact of the customer experience as well. So when we look at this, how do we see AI-powered observability change in that equation? And what does that mean? What's unique about middleware, .io that really helped with changing this with an AI-powered observability solution?
Thank you, Paul. Great questions. The AI is very smart to detect what data actually is important for customers and what data is not important for customers. And that is just bring the change into the market, that they can actually start sending the business data, and then they can correlate between business data to the infrastructure data. So like, give you example, let's say X company, the software is slow between like a few seconds compared to the yesterday. So they can see like what effect actually make for their business impact. Like if the environment or infrastructure is slow, like what it will affect to their the business side of the metrics as well. That actually AI can recognize the pattern that, okay, the yesterday our platform was working pretty smooth, and then this was our latency inside the platform, and then today it was like little slow, and then what actually impact made, and then its AI can find it, and then it can pinpoint it's like where the actually problems, and then how to fix it, the certain points as well. So AI is giving a lot of boost in this market. So before, whenever we like users just trying to debug the issues, they just go to metrics, look at something there, they start filtering into log, and they start filtering in the traces. The billions of log can produce in an hour. Now there is AI. AI can correlate between logs, metrics, and traces and any other data, and then bring the resolutions for the customer. Is like, hey, you don't need to go every bar chart or graph hop from the one to the other one. We will actually bring all the information at one place, and then we'll fix it for you. So the MTTR time of resolutions is reduced by 70-80% of most of the companies now.
Yeah, I that's impressive. I think that's really where organizations want to get to. But let me ask you, because you touched on a couple of things. It really is about moving kind of closer to the development cycle, I believe, to understand what's happening with regards to the actionable insights. When we look at actionable insights, and we understand that organizations are trying to understand what's going on. Historically, observability practices were managed by either IT ops or platform engineering teams. Do you see observability practices moving more towards the developer and moving closer to the CI/CD pipeline across the SDLC, or is it really still kind of an AI ops, IT ops kind of play? And where do you see that persona shift?
Persona still hasn't shifted as much as what we were expecting, but it's just moving to more into the platform engineering, or more into like a core architect of the people in the company, like the core people, they start managing it. That's where it's moving more. I'm like, still we are far from like do complete replacement of observability platform, but I can see that the observability, like maybe within next like 2-3 years, I can see that trend is happening where there is the people will not log into observability platform to debug the issues or do anything. The platform will be there. They will be collecting data. They will be processing it. They will be storing it. But then AI will be fixing it. Because if we compare right now, AI is pretty decent to write a code. So if AI can write a code, then AI can fix the code at the same time too. So actually, market is moving to that directions, and I am pretty confident within next like 2-3 years, this is going to be completely replaced by AI. Whenever issue will be detected, it goes to the platforms, AI will fix it, generate a PR for them, and then it just go to direct CI/CD pipeline. So trend is going there.
I agree with you. I think that there is an evolution here. There's a maturity that's going to go into effect. I believe that the insights can be fed to the developer through their IDE. And you're right. I think that the observability tools that are being used may be feeding those insights directly into the bespoke solution that the developer is using. And that would help drive towards those actionable insights sooner in the CI/CD pipeline or into the SDLC. But, one of the things that's interesting, the reason I asked that is because as we see architectures moving towards microservices, Kubernetes, and now AI-driven workloads, what new observability challenges are emerging, and where do you see middleware, where do you see it the AI piece making the biggest difference here across these new, or I should say current state of microservices, Kubernetes, and AI-driven workloads?
I'm like, for the observability after Kubernetes launch, Kubernetes produced so much more data than it was like it was like monolith architecture was producing it. So the new problems is created inside the observability because it has so much data, and every data is not useful. That is a new challenge. But then when AI came, AI can actually figure it out, like what is important, what is not important. And then like give you example of false positive. Most observability company, like as per my experience, they have like false positive problems is really, really high. But AI can actually solve the false positive problems because like whenever some alerts come, it's like false positive, and then engineers just go look at it and already fix it. It's like a small issue. Like they don't need to worry about it, but then it still send you the alerts, and it is create the panic for the engineers. But then AI is actually solving the problem. So is one and the second biggest problem for the AI is like because of the observability platforms have so much data, we cannot give all the data to AI, because if we give all the data to AI to look at into it, then it's too expensive for now. Then so we need to use like multiple different agents at multiple different the part of the observability stack to just only give a certain type of the data that those are the important, and then AI make most of the decision there.
Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. And, you kind of alluded to this in the last question and the last conversation point that we were talking about. As we're looking ahead, right, 2 to 3 years out, you mentioned that time frame. Do you believe that AI will fundamentally change how engineers will interact with observability platforms? Are there going to be less dashboards and more automated decisions? You kind of said that. You kind of alluded to that. And do you see that middleware.io is preparing for that shift, or is it really like a crawl, walk, run approach? Or what about the human in the loop element too? Like, because some organizations are just not ready for that complete automation.
So right now, I 100% believe that AI will completely replace observability stacks. Where we are today, yes, we are making a big push on that side. Right now, we are fixing 70 to 80% of the issues inside the middleware using AI. Is only the difference what we have right now. We just keep human in loop because the engineers are not comfortable. Like AI is still like not that mature because it does still like make some mistakes here and there. And that's the reason what we say, like whenever we fix the issues, when we get 100% confidence, we just make a fix and we just generate a PR for customers. But down the line, 2-3 years, I 100% believe this is going to be completely replaced by AI. There's going to be a human in loop at a certain point in some places, but then creating these dashboards, creating these graphs, and the user's just going to go look at the dashboards like every single minute. I don't think so. I don't think so. The market going to be there. The market going to go and probably die down within next like 2, 3, 4 years, somewhere there.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I mean, I think that there's a lot of change coming, for sure. I think that there's a lot of harmonization and unification of tools going to be in effect. There's a lot that we talked about in this discussion, in this session today. I guess, what are your closing thoughts? Where can the audience go to learn more, whether they're just getting started or if they're already fully mature and they're saying, hey, like I was talking about, I have all these tools. How do I unify? What do you recommend the audience to do?
I always recommend the audience to do their R&Ds. I don't sell like directly. Do their R&D before they start using it. Should move to the next generation. Should adopt more AI. It's very powerful. If we don't adopt it in this time, we're gonna be old. We're gonna be left behind. There are gonna be like a lot of changes will happen, and make sure you are not late to the journey. If they want to learn more, they can connect me on LinkedIn directly. My name is Laduram Vishnoi, or they can find it out on our website, middleware.io. And I'm happy to connect, and like I'm happy to reply. I'm happy to chat with them.
Awesome. Laduram, thank you for joining me today. This has been awesome. I really appreciate your insights. There's a lot for the audience to think about. This is it's ever changing right now, and there's a lot happening with the AI. As I was saying before and earlier, I was saying that this 2025 was the year of innovation. 26 is the year of execution. So thanks for your insights, and a big thank you to all of you who've tuned in. We really do appreciate you being part of the AppDevANGLE community. But for now, that wraps up this episode. But we'll be back next Wednesday with another conversation diving into the tools, trends, and talent shaping the future of application development. So whether you're deploying at the edge, building with AI, or modernizing your cloud stack, we've got you covered. Be sure to follow us on social if you have any thoughts, questions, or just want to connect. Until next time, stay curious and stay building.